Just before we kind of get into all the roster stuff, obviously you guys have noticed that Hines is, he's stayed on with us, throughout the entire training camp. He's actually been added to part of the coaching staff, so he's going to be an offensive assistant. He's going to be working with the wideouts with Sean. So I think that's a great addition for us. He's done a lot of really good things with that group, helping out with those guys, and I think it was the right time for him. I know he's excited about the opportunity. As far as just kind of going into this week, really the two guys that, you guys saw a little bit of the last time we practiced between Robbie and Tremaine. Right now everything's looking like we're going to be, heading in this week of practice with those guys out there kind of seeing where we're at, but, everything's trending in the right direction. Whatever you guys want from there.
Can you just go into the decision to let Jakai Polite go?
Yeah, I mean, what we talked about since we really started this thing, Joe was, we talked about we wanted the best 53, and that's where we ended up going. We felt like that's the roster we ended up with. That was our best 53.
Why not give them a year to develop like most teams do with third-round picks?
I just think the body of work of kind of everything that we've done since we've been here, it just, we felt like, Kyle, really he earned his spot, and that's what we're about. We're about the guys that do it the way that we need it done, and best guys are gonna make the team.
How disappointing is it? This is obviously a guy that you believed in on some level, and you drafted him as high as you guys did. For him not to, given what happened in the offseason, for him particularly, for him not to kind of get it together and really learn, I guess, to be a professional.
I think that where we were on the roster, especially at that position, that was, with how we're doing things, and we're deep there. We have a lot of players there, and it's, that's a tough lineup to crack. And we had a certain amount of guys that we wanted to keep. The flexibility, at that position, if you are a guy that can play outside linebacker, DN, and D tackle, that gives us a lot of flexibility. It gives us, gives Greg a lot of flexibility. So, when we had, certain guys that only can play outside linebacker and can't do other things, that's where guys can kind of get themselves in trouble on the roster construction.
There was a report that said he was fined $100,000 or thereabouts for various team violations. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather not get into the details of that stuff. I mean, what comes out sometimes isn't always true, and sometimes it is, but, it's something we'd like to keep in-house.
And what is your confidence level, switching gears to a different player, what's your confidence level in crunch time if you need a field goal that Ben Vick, who's never kicked in a regular season game, will come through for you?
Yeah, I feel confident. I mean, these guys have been working on kind of just identifying guys, since really we've been going, kind of when Catman decided to retire. Those guys have been just keeping track of everybody and watching how everybody's performed. And, this guy has a lot of talent, and he's done a lot of good things in some of the preseason games that he's played in. And, we have guys that have actually been with him before, so that's always a helpful tool to use. And, we get in that kind of situation, whoever is out there, I'm always going to have confidence. That's just kind of my mindset. That's how I think. Not everybody's like that, but whoever is on our roster and whoever is playing on Sunday, I have confidence in those players.
Does the uncertainty, just generally speaking, make you a little bit curious or uneasy?
No.
Uncle A, were off-the-field issues factored into the decision to release him?
I think everything is factored in everything you do as a football player. Every guy in the locker room knows that they're being evaluated in everything they do. Especially when it comes training camp time and, being locked in, making sure that you're doing the right things, meetings on the field, walkthroughs, everything is evaluated. Sometimes, you don't even realize you're being evaluated. That's the nature of our beast. Like, as coaches, we're being evaluated. That's just what it is.
Specific to him, there were off-the-field issues that were factored in.
I mean, every player is treated the same. that's just how we do it.
Can you talk a little bit about the decision to flip Greg Dortch for Braxton?
Yeah, that was just, we felt like this was a good opportunity for us. It was somebody that we, especially a lot of guys on this staff that were in Miami, we had a lot of exposure to him in the past. Obviously, when you're a guy that's played in New England, it's kind of a similar system. This is kind of a break off of what they've done. You know, just with my time with Josh, he's influenced me a lot in my career as far as what we do offensively. So, you know, when you're a guy that's played in that offense, there's a fit with our offense.
One more question. I know this is kind of is going back to polite a little bit, but I know it's a unique situation because the general manager drafted him, obviously isn't here anymore, but when that pick came up in the war room, was there some division in terms of should we draft him, should we not draft him, or was everyone on board with selecting him?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to remember exactly what was going on during the draft. That's not really something I'm thinking about nowadays.
How do you feel about the cornerback spot? I think the expectation was there was going to be a lot of churn this weekend at that spot. It didn't really come to fruition, a move or two here or there. But how do you feel about that group kind of going into the season?
Yeah, I mean, I feel better than I did, 10 days ago, 15 days ago. Getting guys healthy and more experience, with some of the guys that we've added and some of the guys that had actually been practicing. So, I mean, I think they've, personnel guys have done a great job, Joe and those guys, as far as trying to find the guys that could fit into what we're doing and guys with experience and young guys that we could add just in that whole secondary group. I mean, I think anytime we had guys that have been, part of teams that have won is always a positive thing for us.
Is Bennett Jackson going to play corner, safety, or both?
We'll see that when we kind of get going. I know he has a lot of versatility. He's has special teams background. I mean, it's just going to be see how it kind of fits in with what we're doing.
What's the thought process behind hanging on to 5 wideouts? I think it's something you've done in the past, but obviously it's a relatively small group. What's kind of the thought process there?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where we were or where we're at right now. And, it could always change. I mean, that's where we're at today. I'm always a fan of more wideouts the better. So we'll just kind of see how it just keeps moving and flowing and how the league kind of shakes out too.
Will Barrios go right to punt returning dude?
Yeah.
What do you like about Barrios' overall skill set?
He's a guy that has historically, coming out of college, was really good at getting open in the slot. He's had good experience as far as the punt returner goes. There's a lot of confidence there. I do think that, especially we worked him out. We were able to on our Miami day down there, and, he was a guy that we actually spent a little more time with. And we were excited to kind of see how the draft went and see what happened there. And we were in a unique position because we did have a lot of guys in the wideout spot that they weren't going anywhere. And, he was a guy that we were really interested in. So kind of the way this has worked out, it'll be interesting because he was a guy we wanted to work with.
What's your general excitement about this bid finally being game week?
I think it will probably hit me more towards the end of the week. Right now it's just a Monday. Just having our first meeting, kind of covering a few things, and when we hit Wednesday, when we go to practice, and kind of really getting into the game plan and the details of what we're looking to do, that'll probably hit me a little different.
The roster now is pretty heavy on linemen on both sides of the ball. Is that just kind of an extension of what Joe's been saying, that kind of he thinks that that's the most important spot on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it starts up front, both sides. And, that was really the plan going into this. I think they've done an unbelievable job as far as creating depth on both sides, especially the offensive line. That looks like it's one of our strengths now, and it's turned over quick. And it's exciting to be able to kind of look at that group and know if somebody goes down, we have good players to be able to fill in and step up.
And did you seriously consider keeping Falk on 53, or was it always kind of, let's hope he clears waivers and come back?
I mean, that discussion came up. It's just kind of the way that the roster kind of shook out. That was the right decision for us.
What do you like about what you saw in the summer?
Well, I mean, I've been around him for a year. I just know his knowledge of the offense and his ability to get the team in the end zone. I mean, that's his number one goal. It doesn't matter how it looks. How do you get there? I mean, that's the most important thing, get in the end zone.
What are the challenges of having a starting center in the opener who never played in a game with the quarterback he's working with?
I think the fact that we've been practicing and he's been out there and he's been working with those guys. I mean, for us, the way that we practice and the tempo we go at and the competition that we get against our defensive line, it feels like a game. You know, I think those guys, they'll be fine.
Circle back to the O-line for a second. How's Brent Qualley doing kind of in his process back here?
Yeah, I mean, we still got a little bit of ways to go. You know, I mean, but you know, when you got a big man like that that has game experience, you know, you're going to go the duration and just make sure that give him every opportunity to get healthy, and if he's needed, then we at least will have him available.
I assume because of the fact he wasn't put on the injured reserve with allowing him to come back, that you expect him to be healthy within the next couple of weeks as opposed to 8.
Yeah, we still got time to make some moves, so we'll see.
Why did you lose the facial hair?
I don't know, just felt right at the time.
Do you regret it?
Will not say one way or the other.
Thank you.
I guess.
Thanks.